Hi, Eric Lanask here in Miami with ITEXPO. In the studio with me is Christian Friel from Avotus. Christian, thanks for joining me. Good to have you.
Thanks, Eric. Great to be here. Great to be back in Miami.
So, one of the things that you often wonder about is what are some of the major differences when we talk about all these new communications technologies, the evolution, and obviously there are needs that smaller businesses, SMB markets, let's say, and large enterprises have. One of those things is how do they manage their entire communications, not only infrastructure, but everything that they've acquired over the course of the time. And obviously it's a lot more difficult for a large enterprise to be able to do that.
It is.
But what are some of the things that make that management so difficult?
What makes the management, I think, difficult in the large enterprise space is there's several things. One, changes in technology and upgrades to technology, merger and acquisition. If one company merges with another, then of course you have double that network, and then how do you intelligently make those decisions on how to merge the two and bring everything together and converged. So we talked about change in technology. We talked about mergers and acquisitions. We've got mergers and acquisitions on the carrier side, which can create some financial turmoil in the way that the billing systems of these telcos merge, and then that can create somewhat of a spend challenge. And how is that change monitored by by the enterprise? And then there's also changes to the equipment itself. We're going to these next generation networks that require and applications that require so much more bandwidth. And those bandwidth changes require not only changes on the network itself, right, but also on that equipment. And quite honestly, if it's not, if you don't have a sanitized environment, it's almost like working on your car if you have a dirty garage, right? It's very difficult. If you can sanitize that environment, be able to trace all the wires through the firewalls, then these changes can become easy for you. But right now, as it seems, there's a lot, the spend can easily get out of control in those environments.
How big of a problem is unused technology? Stuff that may have been acquired, and you're still paying a lease, or you're still paying monthly fees on things that aren't even used.
That could be a challenge, right? I mean, and a lot of times that's not even known until you start working with a partner, perhaps that can really help you get a handle on all of those spend patterns, not only on the network side, but maybe find one that can also help you a little bit on that equipment side. And a lot of times, if you're looking at on the usage management for for example, and usage trends across the technology that you've deployed. Let's say, voice, for instance. You can, by utilizing that big data, you can actually have some performance indicators from that data that you can use to evaluate whether or not you're going to make a migration or whether or not that migration was, in fact, a successful one.
So how does a company like Avotus help these enterprises not only collect the data on what's going on, but make sense of it? Because I think that's sort of one of the really big issues, too, is, all right, we've collected a lot of information. I don't know what the heck it means. How do I make some intelligent sense out of it?
Okay. So Avotus, we have over 30 years of experience, and we bring proprietary software, subject matter experts, and we leverage that human capital to provide big data, visibility, and savings to our customers. We've talked about the challenges, of migrations and the ever-changing, technology. Our solution is based upon 4 pillars, where we have a usage management component, where we provide visibility and call detail records into that usage, right? We provide an expense management component, where we will normalize that data on the invoices, proactively correct them with the carriers, audit and optimize those environments. We have a wireless component where we help our customers manage their inventory on all their wireless assets, and even assist in the implementation of BYOD or other mobile policies. We also assist in policy development, right? And then we also provide sourcing capabilities, advanced sourcing capabilities, where when new changes are being made, our solutions can be leveraged to provide not only 20 to 40% reduction in cost on a tradition, in a sourcing environment, but also have you can get the best terms on price for performance, service level agreements, and and that's kind of how we all bring it together. So our philosophy is to cleanse it, buy it smart, and keep it clean.
Who's the typical customer for Avotus?
Our typical customers are typically in the Fortune 5000, Fortune 5000, multi-location, multi-carrier, with thousands of wireless devices, connected to their network, where Avotus is being leveraged to provide that raw data on those assets, on those network assets.
Kind of all the individual traits that collectively just add to sort of mass complexity in that management situation.
Correct.
What about wireline devices?
Wireline devices. Okay, so with the Avotus usage management, we talked about how we can, gather that data, in those patterns across the entire enterprise. Well, it's not. It's the usage management component is almost agnostic, right? We can report on some of the emerging technologies and the SIP technology, right, as well as the traditional PBX. And those call detail records are coming on the terrestrial base from the component at the component level, right? So that data can also be matched up against the billing invoice as well, to be able to take that and make those decisions with regards to the usage.
How big of an issue, and I don't know if the answer is in dollars or in some other mechanism, is mismatched or inaccurate billing?
That can be up to 2.5%, maybe 3% of total telco spend. The wonderful thing about Avotus is that by leveraging us, we proactively find those errors and put those tickets into the carriers, so that our end user customers. I'd like to think that our end user customers can focus on core, not chore. Let's focus on that policy development. Let's focus on these other things that are important. To help you define how your IT policies affect your end user customer and are generating revenue for your enterprise. And meanwhile, we'll handle this for you.
Mm-hmm. How does an enterprise come to? How do I find Avotus? Meaning, what makes me realize, whether I'm the IT manager or the CFO or whoever typically kind of initiates those situations, what makes me realize that I need to have some help managing all of these?
That's a great question. Our space is certainly growing. In terms of having visibility, in the market, and I would like to think that there are these policies in place, or sometimes IT directors think that they have a policy,
Sure.
That works, and if they're not leveraging a partner like Avotus, they probably should be, just because of that intrinsic value. What we offer can't be replicated at the same cost by the enterprise.
Is there, an audit that happens that might trigger, a phone call to Avotus or somebody like Avotus in the market that says, okay, you know what, we found we've got these issues, or what makes that IT guy say, we need help, we can't do this?
Typically, a sales call.
Got it.
If the enterprise doesn't know that we're out there, they should be looking to for that partnership. And it all depends on how the enterprise wants to use its human capital. Do you want to be paying somebody $30 an hour to be on the phone, tracking down a $10 bill credit? Mm-hmm. Those things start adding up. What about zero-use devices and circuits that you're paying for on a monthly basis that have absolutely no use or no value? We can help identify those, notify our customer of those, and then assist them in proactively disconnecting those services that aren't being utilized.
Excellent. Well, certainly sounds like pretty much every large enterprise that's out there should be giving you a call to figure out how to not only save a few dollars, but save a lot of time as well.
Yeah, we hope so. This industry, it's just getting more popular now, especially with the advent of mobility. Everyone's talking about BYOD or corporately owned, personally enabled. We can assist in any facet, of that change to help our customers clean up the garage, if you will.
Sure. Excellent.
With the right tools and a clean garage, you can just about accomplish anything.
Absolutely agreed. Christian, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you so
It's been
much.
a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well.